The dragon was massive. His scales shimmered black with flecks of red. His wings were strong enough to blot out the sun. He had terrorized mountains for centuries. Villagers spoke his name in fear. No warrior had ever survived his fire. No hunter had ever faced him twice. He was the terror of the northern peaks. Every creature of the wild fled when he appeared. Birds scattered. Wolves disappeared. Even the bears left their dens. Nothing dared stay yet. Today he moved differently. His claws scraped the rock as he descended into a valley he had never visited. His eyes, golden and sharp, searched for prey. He expected to find deer, perhaps a wandering sheep or two. Instead, he found a baby. The baby crawled across the grass, chubby fingers grabbing at flowers. A soft giggle echoed through the valley. The dragon paused. His instincts told him to roar, to incinerate, to snatch. Yet something about the tiny creature held him still. He lowered his massive head. Smoke curled from his nostrils. The baby stopped crawling. It tilted its head, staring into the dragon's eyes. Then it laughed. It reached out a small hand. Tentatively, curiously, the dragon recoiled slightly. He had never been approached like this. Never had something smaller than a fox ignored the danger he radiated. The baby's hand touched the dragon's claw. Not in fear, not in pain. Just contact. A strange feeling crept through him. Something ancient and unfamiliar. Care. The baby crawled closer. Each step seemed braver than the last. The dragon did not move. He let it. He could feel the warmth of a small human body. It was different from the warmth of fire or the heat of the sun. Softer, gentle. The baby crawled into the shadow of the dragon. He did not flinch. He did not run. He simply stared up at the enormous head that now seemed almost protective. The dragon lowered his head further. His snout touched the grass beside the baby. He exhaled slowly. Warm air, not fire. The baby clapped its hands. It giggled. It crawled under the dragon's wing. The dragon stiffened at first. He had never let anything near him. Never had anything survived him. Yet the baby nestled in the dark space of his shadow, its tiny body warm and soft against the cold stone floor, and the dragon realized he could not move, could not leave, could not harm. Days passed. The dragon remained in the valley. The baby stayed. Its laughter filled the silent spaces. Birds began to return. Deer wandered close. Even the wolves dared to peek from the forest. The villagers who had feared the dragon noticed something strange. Smoke no longer rose from the mountains. Cries of terror vanished. The dragon was quiet, almost gentle. Curiosity overcame fear. They sent scouts, small ones at first. They watched from a distance. They saw the baby crawling beneath the dragon's wing. They saw the dragon not attacking, not roaring, not hunting. It was impossible. The dragon had never been gentle, and yet there it was, gentle, watching over the child. Word spread. Stories spread. The impossible tale of the dragon who had never been gentle, tamed by the smallest creature. Hunters came, thinking to kill him. They found him lying in the sun. The baby played at his feet. The dragon lifted one claw in warning. It was not a threat to the baby. It was a warning to them. Hunters left. No one dared strike a creature that cared for a human. The dragon learned new things. He learned to move without terror, to lower his head instead of raise it to attack, to breathe warm air, not fire. The baby grew. first to crawling, then to toddling. The dragon's shadow became a playground. He carried the baby on his back. He let it climb his horns. He tolerated tiny hands tugging at his scales. Other dragons came. They were curious. They circled above. They saw the child. They saw the once feared dragon lying quietly. They did not understand. Dragons did not protect humans. Dragons did not care for humans. Dragons ate humans. Dragons destroyed humans. But the dragon had changed. The baby reached out one day. It pointed at a small lizard. The dragon lowered his massive head. The lizard ran. The baby laughed. The dragon felt something he had never felt before. Pride, happiness, when the baby cried. The dragon's roar was no longer for attack. It was for comfort. He lifted the baby in his claws. He nuzzled it gently. The sound frightened the baby at first. Then, slowly, the baby understood. It was safe. Years passed. The baby became a child. It walked boldly beside the dragon. The villagers came closer. They began to bring offerings. Fruits, bread, water. They were not afraid. The dragon had shown them there was more than terror in the mountains. The dragon's fame changed. From terror to protector. From predator to guardian. Stories spread across kingdoms. Humans who once fled at the sight of his wings now sought his shadow. The child grew into a young adult. It rode on the dragon's back. They flew over forests, rivers, and mountains. Together, they explored the world. Together, they protected it. And the dragon learned more: patience, compassion, loyalty, trust. Other dragons began to approach humans with caution. Some followed the example. Some did not. The world began to change. The dragon, once feared, had become a legend. Not for the destruction he caused, not for the mountains he conquered, but for the child who crawled into his shadow. One day, when the young adult was ready, the dragon took flight. He carried them high above the clouds. They laughed. The wind roared around them. They were free. The dragon realized he had found purpose beyond fear, beyond hunger, beyond power. He had found connection, love, the strange warmth that only humans could inspire. And in the shadow of the dragon, no harm came to the world, only protection. Only guidance, only the gentle care of a creature once thought incapable of gentleness. The legend endured. Dragons were still feared. Dragons were still respected. But one dragon had taught the world something new. Even the fiercest of beings could be gentle. Even the strongest of warriors could care. Even the most terrifying shadow could shelter life. All it took was a child. All it took was curiosity. All it took was trust. The dragon watched as the human grew, as the world changed, as peace spread across the valleys. He had lived centuries in terror and fire. Now he lived centuries in quiet wonder, and sometimes, just sometimes, he let himself smile, because a dragon had never been gentle. Until a baby crawled into his shadow, and the world would never be the same again. *.